Welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets as well as traditional markets. Got a little bit of action going on today. Markets started down across the board and it bounced back here mid-afternoon. We'll have to see what the momentum looks like into the close. But so far, the S&P is pretty flat, up about, or NASDAQ's pretty flat, up about 33 points. S&P, same thing, flat, up about 10 points. And the Dow is up 57 points right now as I am recording this. It's about 2:41 Eastern Standard Time. So I got about another 45 minutes to go before the market closes. And no real big news today other than the continuation of escalating prices. Lockdowns in China are going to definitely have an impact on the supply chain bottleneck and prices. Obviously, home builder sentiment drops for the fourth straight quarter in our fourth straight month in a row, pushing housing to an inflection point. So home builder sentiment is builder confidence. As interest rates rise, the average 30-year fixed mortgage right now is at about 5.15%. So rates are over 5% for the first time in a long time. That will definitely have an impact on housing. We are already starting to see markets correct a little bit across the country. Obviously, there's pockets here and there. Some pockets are going to be hotter than others. Where all the demand is, the Sun Belt is where a lot of demand is. Housing markets are still red hot, but we're starting to see prices correct a little bit in some of those areas. Houses are sitting on the market a little bit longer, and home builders are going to be the first ones that are going to be feeling the pinch because of the affordability index, with people basically buying payments. As we know, food prices are up all across the board. Inflation is a real problem. So the Fed's going to be meeting in May. We should see a 50-point basis increase in rates, but that is not what affects mortgage rates. That's just the Fed fund rates, which affects credit, which affects the amount of money that banks can borrow and the cost of the money that banks and companies can borrow. And it also affects liquidity, as the Fed is going to be reducing the balance sheet. So we shall see the impact when Fed starts selling treasuries, what that does to prices out there, and how it affects overall interest rates, because mortgage rates are based on treasuries, and treasuries have been skyrocketing. Right now, the 10-year is at an all-time, not an all-time high, but higher than it's been in years right now at 2.857. So that's not very high in general, but it's higher than it's been in years. 10-year treasury, its highest level of more than 3 years. So we're seeing a little bit of a turnaround in the economy. And the question is on everybody's mind, why are the markets up if things look so rough and there are so much headwinds in the economy? Well, one thing obviously today is tax day. It is April 18th of 2022. So for the general population, today is tax day, whether you're extending or not. If you have taxes to pay, you got to pay them. So there'll be some selling and liquidations to cover taxes, things like that. People wait till the last minute so they can squeeze the last bit of every possible opportunity out before paying taxes. So that's one reason. Another is the Fed hasn't actually done anything yet. They're just talking, and the market still expects the Fed to reverse course. And a lot of it is, again, they're going to maximize profits as long as they can, investors, traders, until the Fed actually makes a change in the market's reverse course and start to reach for some of those lows. Let's take a look at the charts, and we'll take a look at traditional markets first and just kind of take a peek at where we're at. And, you know, a lot of volatility in the markets right now, still working on a correction. This is the Dow. Right now, we had that recent low of 32,000, then it bounced to 35,000, and price has been heading low on the Dow ever since last couple of weeks. After that relief rally, same thing on the NASDAQ, down a little bit more than the Dow. S&P down a little bit more as well, working its way back down to that March low that was hit on all indices, as well as Bitcoin and crypto. So we will have to see what happens. And these are the trend lines we've been watching. So this is Bitcoin on the hourly here. Had flat price action up until the weekend, and Easter weekend had a little bit of a drop of about 5%. And we've been tracking this overall downtrend here since March, around March 28th, when I said start looking for a 20% drop in Bitcoin and crypto. and probably 10% in the markets. And so far, well, today we hit 20% on the nose. So, and we reversed from there. So that's what I've been tracking is this little, we'll look at this on the daily here, but this area of support, and even on the hourly, this was a little area of support. Price broke through, immediately rebounded back up, and has stayed above it. So we've got short liquidations, long liquidations, open interest is still at record highs, not all-time highs, but record level highs. And generally you get a lot of price action when that happens. The interesting thing is to look at, the algorithmic trading that's going on. All of the hourly price action across most of the major altcoins of Bitcoin looks identical. So this is algorithmic trading going on, automated trading on a lot of the altcoins. I mean, price action looks almost identical here over the last couple of days and over the last couple of weeks. So interesting to watch. This is not retail all of a sudden jumping in and saying, or investors all of a sudden jumping in and saying, hey, let's buy. Although you do have Do Kwon, who has been buying, that's kind of propping things up a little bit. And then you have the market makers liquidating longs and shorts here. But with the continuation of this creeping down, if you look at it on the 4-hourly, you can see this trend even more pronounced over the last couple of weeks since about the 28th of March, when I was looking at this peak right here on the upper trend line where I was looking for that drop off. And now what we're going to do is we're going to look at this on the daily, and the trend lines I'm watching are the closes. I drew this trend line here at the bottom because that's your wick close. Some people are tracking this, calling it a bear flag, calling it a channel. You can call it what you want. Bottom line is I track the closes, and this has been a major support right here on the close. We haven't revisited this wick low yet, which the price was working its way there today before it reversed. We'll just have to wait and see if it continues upward and closes up. And I'm tracking this trend line on the closes because this has been the major support, other than these two wicks, where it wicked down to this trend, where price has continued to rebound. And whenever it's held support here, as you can see, last couple of times the price held support, it rebounded to the upper levels of this channel that we're in. So if that's the case, and what I looked at here was price rejected off the top of the channel. So it was about a 20% drop down to the bottom level of this channel, depending on where it was at that time. So right now, if price continues up to the top, that could be a 20% increase in price if it continues to work its way towards the top of this channel. So we'll just have to see if there's enough momentum with what's going on for price to kind of reach the top of this channel, which would be about 41 or 48,500 in that range, and then turn around and work its way back and just kind of continue on this trend while the economy and the Fed are trying to figure out what's going on. And we see how the war progresses in Ukraine with that. So those are the things I'm watching there on the trend lines. Let's take a look at our moving averages that we've been tracking. And the price is still below all of the major moving averages. On the daily, this is the 200 right here, and the 50 and the 100 prices rejecting on the 100 right now and trying to get back above it. And what we've seen going back is anytime the price loses all the major moving averages, we get these serious declines. Price rejected on the 100 and then got above it again and continued when it found support above the 100. But whenever price rejects that 100, again, it got up above here and rejected, it tends to go down and test these lower levels that we've seen. So let's look at it on the weekly here, and we'll put it on log so we can see it a little bit better. And once again, price is still above the 100-week moving average, below the 50. And whenever price loses the 100-week moving average, it goes down and tests the 200, which right now is rolling in at about 22,000. So let's go back and look at the last time price lost the 100-week moving average. It went down below, a wick below, but closed on that 200-week moving average. That was back in March 2020. Last time before that was during the as you can see, it held support right before that, broke through here, but it lost the 100-week moving average back in 2018, went down to check the 100-week moving average, found support, and was on and upward from there. So this was back in 2018 timeframe, June, July of 2018. Here is April. And this is the price action here that I've been tracking, that it kind of feels like we're in right now. This was April, May last year, March, April, May, or not last year, but of 2018, after the 2017 peak, price was moving down. And this is on the weekly following that 2017, 2018 bull market. So right about here is the area I feel like is very similar. And if you look at the time frames, I mean, that's March, April, May, right through there. So if we go look at March, April, May through here, so here's March, and we're getting into April and May now in this area with this little bounce here, rejecting off the 50-week, going down to the 100 back here in 2017. You can see price in found support in March, bounced up in April, came back down and checked that 50-week moving average, lost the 50-week, double tapped the 50-week again, lost it, rejected, went down, played with the 100, lost it, went down to the 200. Same thing kind of happened in 2014. So that is something to keep an eye on. It's happened multiple times when the 50 crosses. This is the weekly. When the 50 crosses over the 100, generally you've gone down to touch that 200-week moving average. And right now, these look like they're going to cross. This is on the weekly that 50 and 100 are going to cross. And if that's the case, by the time that happens, price should be down around this 200-week moving average if it's going to do that. And every time it's done that, that's what happens with the price action prior to that cross, is that price is generally on that 200-week moving average when that cross happens. So we'll just have to wait and see if it happens here. That is the worst case scenario right now on the table, is going down, and we'll take a look at that again real quick, is going down to touch that 200-week moving average. Right now it's coming in at 21,000. Depending on when that actually happens, it could be around 23, 24,000, somewhere in June, July timeframe, which was where price bottomed the last time after the $64,000 top. June, July 2021, price bottomed at $28,000, but that was on the 50-week moving average. Came, found support on it, came back up, tested it, lost it, testing it again. So this looks a whole lot like what was going on in 2018 into the bear market. So we'll have to see how price reacts to this 50-week if it gets there, or this 100-week if it gets there, to see if price is going to continue, or if we're going to go down and test the lower levels of the price action on the charts there. So we'll get back to the hourly. So we just have to wait and see where Bitcoin closes today in terms of the overall price action to expect going into Tuesday. And right now, price is rejecting on that $41,000 level right now. So the close is important. You can tell a lot about the momentum of the price action as we go into the close. Markets are still kind of flat, up a little bit more since we started the recording. Traditional markets, we have about an hour left to go till the close. I said 45 minutes ago, I meant an hour. It's 2:54 Eastern Standard Time right now. Markets close at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think European markets might still be closed today because of the Easter weekend. So we'll have to wait and see what tomorrow looks like. And again, we have 1 hour left to go into the close. The momentum into the close is the key. Cryptocurrency markets close later on this evening. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when the markets close for me. It's either 6 or 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when markets close for me in my time zone. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see how things react going into the close. So these are the things that I'm looking at, and I will see you on the next video.